year, the Kenya Asset Recovery Agency obtained an order from the Hight Court of Kenya prohibiting me from accessing my account at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya Cooperative House branch on allegations that I was involved in money laundering in Kenya, and that I used Mrs. Raja Kejilado, who is my wife, sitting there, as a conduit for money laundering. The account freeze order was then highly publicized by a large number of media outlets and social media, putting my name into undeserved political and social disrepute. From hearing the news, I promise the people of South Sudan, the region, the continent, and indeed the world, that I will immediately launch a self-defense legal proceeding against the Kenya Asset Recovery Agency. Indeed, I fulfilled my promise by hiring Bageno and Gubi Advocates, LLP, to present my defense case against the Asset Recovery Agency. My legal team responded to the unfounded allegation of money laundering by the ARA against me on the 7th of July through a sworn affidavit to give the details of the legal source of my income and hence the funds in my account in the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. The ARA, when reviewing my sworn affidavit, was satisfied that the source of my funds are legitimate and legal and not linked to any money laundering activities. Thus, on the 15th of this month, of September 2001, after my lawyers presented my case before the High Court of Kenya in Nairobi, the court ruled to set aside and resent its orders of the 4th of June 2001, unfreezing access to my account, and further declared that I am at liberty to access and transact my account freely at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. I want to say that I am very happy that the Kenya High Court has declared me of unlawful money laundering allegations. Ms. Raja Keji and I are vindicated and exonerated from the baseless ARA money laundering allegations, corruption allegations, and any criminal activities in Kenya. At this juncture, I very much thank the Kenya High Court for the absolute integrity and for upholding high standards of the rule of law, justice, and equality, regardless of nationality, before the law in Kenya. Equally, I appreciate the Kenya Asset Recovery Agency for acknowledging the authenticity of the source of my funds, and I advise that the ARA, that in the future, the Kenyan anti-money laundering recovery should conform to the country's legal procedures and protocols so as not to victimize people in support of negative policy of external powers with negative political intentions in the region, and especially South Sudan in this case. I have no doubt that the ARA's action was motivated by the illegal sanctions levied against me on the 16th of December 2019, which baseless sanctions were inspired by the regime change agenda in the Republic of South Sudan. The intention of the non-UN neo-colonialist sanctions is to damage my personal reputation and my political career beyond repair. Justice has finally prevailed, and that puts my enemies into a historical disappointment and shame. I know that some members in the international community issued unlawful sanctions against me for standing tall and strong in defending my country's national interests against the masters of little change in South Sudan. I categorically affirm my plight to South Sudanese. I intellectually fought for the independence of South Sudan, and I will do what it takes to protect and defend the sovereignty of our country and our people. I will not be scared or threatened, but stand tall by my people and country. And I profusely thank His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit for entrusting me to serve my people and country as a cabinet minister for over 16 years, including participating in peace negotiations and peace implementation. If I was not the person I am, highly integral, confident and focused, the case would have inflicted permanent damaging psychological trauma in me and my entire family. I have never been to a court in my entire life, let alone be accused of serious crime such as that of money laundering and involvement in criminal activities, neither in South Sudan, the UK, or indeed anywhere in the world. To be accused and taken to court for money laundering as a sitting First Minister, the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, absolutely without a shred of evidence by the ARA under the Kenyan Procedures of Crime and Money Laundering Act 2009, undermined the Republic of South Sudan as a country, undermined my diplomatic status and the bilateral relations between Kenya and South Sudan. Not only that, it violated the establishment law of the East African Community, the Intergovernmental Authority for Development, IGAD, and even the African Union, leave alone other international laws. As a sitting minister in a sovereign country, sisterly to Kenya, I expected my immunity to be lifted and then I investigated first before being taken to court. Despite the fact that the Kenyan Procedures of Crime and Money Laundering Act 2009 requires that the Attorney General of Kenya to write through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the Attorney General of the Republic of South Sudan, demanding lifting of my immunity and investigation before being taken to court. The Embassy of South Sudan was never conducted and was not informed, only to learn of the issuance of court order freezing my account in social media. To my political enemies, political force, cyber criminals, and social media terrorists who celebrated the IA allegations against me, you are now required to update your records that I have nothing to do with money laundering or corruption. That Dr. Martin Elia is a loyal citizen and a family man who abides by the rules of law, particularly of good governance, and that I'm not a money launderer, financial criminal, or otherwise. I commit to continue with President Salva Kiir Mayardit on his peace roadmap in South Sudan and the region. Now that this case has ended, I'm more fresh, focused, and determined to help our President with the implementation of the revitalized agreement in the resolution conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. I want to thank you. I want to thank my lawyers. I want to thank my friends particularly. I want to thank my lawyers, Kwagweno and Bubi advocates, LLP in Kenya, and my friend, my legal advisor who's sitting here, Barrister Arnold Deng Goring, who's a barrister for the professional and expert advice. They burnt the midnight oil, going through numerous documents and prepared concrete evidence that were presented in court. Before I conclude, I wish to thank the people, the government of Kenya, and especially President Uhuru Kenyatta for the cordial relationship with the people and the government of South Sudan. I want all to know in Kenya that South Sudan is Kenya's friend, and we will always work together with Kenya to achieve the common interest for all the two countries in the region and internationally. Finally, I want to profusely thank my friends. I want to thank deeply my family, in London, my family in Kenya, and the larger Lomuro family in the US, in Canada, in Australia, and in Uganda. Ultimately, I thank the people of South Sudan who believe in me, and especially my people with the Pajulu ethnicity of Lanya County, Central Equatoria. They all stood firmly with me during my pain from politically motivated attempt to assassinate and discredit me. As always, I promise to maintain my loyalty to you, uphold my integrity and high moral standards that my parents installed in me. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you all enormously for your time and in advance of your advocacy of this press statement with the knowledge of the people of South Sudan, the region, the continent, and the world.
The case was brought under 3 sections, Section 3, and Section 4, and Section 7 of the Asset Recovery Agency law, which is Proceeds of Crime and Money Laundering Act 2009. Under that law, it says that if there is an evidence of the matter, then there will be a preservation order that the court can pass to preserve the assets so that they cannot be wasted. That is under Section 89 of that law. Now, what are the procedures? The procedures are why we're here. The procedures were not followed properly, and that is what we made an application for in Kenya. Under Article 89 of that law, we appeal that this decision, which was passed on the 4th of June 2021, should be rescinded. On considering all the affidavits that were sworn by Dr. Elia Lomuro, the Asset Recovery Agency found that his explanation was satisfactory and was authentic. Therefore, they say that they have no case. Now in the court, when you say that you have no case, you are dropping your charges. So they drop charges against Dr. Martin. So the decision of the court was that, which was passed on the 15th of September 2021, rescinded the 4th of June 2021 order, which preserved the assets or froze the account of Dr. Martin. Secondly, the order also said that Dr. Martin was now at liberty to use his accounts. And thirdly, the order also says that the explanation that was given was satisfactory. And then the 4th item was that the case is closed. So that is what came out of that court. Now, Section 115 of that law requires that if a citizen is in another country, that country should be notified through the Kenyan Attorney General Office. And that will go through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs until to the Attorney General of that country. This did not happen. So these were the loopholes that we saw, and we said no. What is the law therefore? The law is that you are innocent till you are found guilty, but you are not guilty till you are found innocent. That is not the law. Now, what happened in the past is that Dr. Martin had already been attacked, that he was a criminal, and I think even some of the questions that were being asked is that all South Sudanese ministers are criminals, all the government ministers are criminals. That is not correct. The narrative needs to be clear. And it can be any of you, even if the journalists, you can just be accused of anything. But if you don't know where to go, especially with the law, you can be a victim. And I think the gentleman that asked the question earlier about the human rights, that's why actually the human rights is there. That you are innocent till you're found guilty. So, with no further ado, I wish to say thank you all.
Umon mazo kele hayataki sala. Umon mazo kele hayataki gero. Umon mazo kele hayataki sala.